Hello all. Right, on the Q&A this week, it was concerned with last week's being, which is to do with the zone charges. And someone asked me the question, how has the zone charges affected your vehicle? And it kind of took someone to ask the question to kick me into gear. And kindly, I've done all the responses bar one, because Godzilla's, who's a lovely fella, he's a long-time contributor, and I'm very grateful, thank you very much, actually supplied a very long, in-depth indication into this. So I said, Godzilla's gets his own video on this, and mate, you've kind of started me on a roll here. I don't know where I'm going with this one. So I printed it out. So I've got my Harry Potters, the truck glasses, there we go. And I've got my pulpit, and in front of my pulpit, which effectively is a large dash steering wheel, because it's in front of me, because it's the pulpit. So, I'm going to read you what he says. He says, right, now this is to do with, is it really environmentally friendly? Because I've been thinking about this for a long time. Is it really environmentally friendly to scrap perfectly good motors in favour of brand new motors? Because you've got to build the brand new motors, and if they're electric, you've got to get lithium in the brand new motors, which you've got to drag off the bottom of the sea, and then you've got to get the steel from China, and you've got to get the CPUs from Silicon Valley, and you've got to put them on boats, and you've got to send them on over here, and that is all a lot of carbon. And does it actually truly work out? So Godzilla's edifies us. He said, right, this is fun with maths time. He said the difference, now this is to do with the actual emissions that come out of the vehicle. The difference between a Euro 5 and Euro 6 is the output of nasties, the output around nasties is around double for a Euro 5 compared to a Euro 6. Oh, that's not nice. Problem is that if you're running our blue with a Euro 5, you'll be producing lower than a Euro 6 standard, and yet paying fines everywhere you drive and have higher vehicle tax. Clearly, the green credentials are questionable. Well, this is what I've been thinking. So what he's saying, potentially, if you're in a Euro 6 motor but you're not running our blue, and I'm in a Euro 5 motor and I am running our blue, when I drive into the zone, I'm actually pumping out less carbon monoxide than you are. But I'm still being charged and you're not. So how does that work? So he said, right, here's a maths. The average person in the UK creates half a tonne of CO2 yearly. 25% of this is from cars, and the rest is from general plastic, but mostly from their homes. Americans, by the way, are 4.5 tonne. Well, they've got big motors and big homes. So the average car in the UK lasts around 8.4 years. Lots get crashed or die mechanically. So then once they're out, they've gone. So this means the average car will make a tonne of CO2 in its life. Okay, so far. Now, to make a new car, the average CO2 differs from a model a lot. So if it's something small, like say, for example, a Fiesta van, that will create just 10 tonnes of CO2 in its making, whereas long wheelbase sprinters are likely to make over 40 tonne. Now, this is the point for me. To make a brand new van is over 40 tonne of CO2 to make it. Whereas if you're running one, you're not actually having to make it. So you're only doing what it's pushing out. And if you're running our blue, that ain't a lot. And a lot of Euro 5s I know are running our blue. So to take an average car alone, it takes 25 tonne to make a vehicle. This falls apart slightly on older vehicles that use less CO2, around 25%, because the new cars have new materials. So the new motors are actually using a lot more CO2 to make them, because they're made of lighter materials, which they need to be economical for use. So although they're more economical for use, it costs more money to make them. It also says, in say a 12-year period, I reckon van stocks out there are a lot older, so cars I've added 25% in a lifetime. A Euro 6 van will create, call it, 1.5 tonne of CO2 in its life. The same van, the Euro 5, will create 3 tonne. So it's created twice as much. So if you run a Euro 5 tonne over 24 years, it will still only have made 6 tonne of CO2, which is less than the CO2 difference in making back in the day. Therefore, to run an old jalopy to the point of to its point of 24 when it dies, you will have saved the planet 18 tonne of CO2. He said it gets worse, a lot worse. The point of running an old van becomes equal to running a new van, and its total CO2 production is around 208 years. And no, that's not a typo. 2 centuries. I've only shown the CO2 from other micro participants, and I've ignored the miles and how long a post can be. Sorry, but it does show green credentials are very questionable. He said, just as a side note before we get onto this, he said the other stuff is a third of a million each year of the new houses get built. They kick out into the environment. A couple of hundred tons of CO2 each time. And he said, don't even get me started on HS2. He said, right, I'm off to glue myself to a road in protest. I'll probably glue myself to my own driveway because I don't want to be too far from a cup of tea and a toast. Yeah, and don't get yourself on a hammock and strap yourself to a bridge because it's probably very high and quite windy up there. It's quite scary. So there's a lot to digest in there and a lot of stuff that I don't understand. Not because I'm thick, just because I haven't really drilled into it, but a lot of stuff that I suspect to be true, which is it really CO2, or are they trying to push us because the motor lobby wants to sell cars? So the motor lobby lobbies government, and then government turns around and says we need new cars because it's good for the environment. And this is my problem I've got. Call it what it is. This is my new campaign. I'm fed up with this. Call it what it is. I'll pay your tax. I'll pay your tax when I'm going into the zone, but don't tell me it's ecology. I'm all for green things, but this isn't green. This is scrapping perfectly good motors so we can then sell you brand new motors which you don't need on the pretense it's good for the environment, despite the fact it's actually worse for the environment. It's cheaper and better for the environment to run the old motors into the floor, and when they're dead, then you've got to buy the new ones, which are clearly environmentally friendly. So yeah, don't call it ecology. Like my mate Dave says, it's poor people's tax under the name of ecology. Call it poor people's tax. That's fine. Another one that gets me is electric meters. You're on an electric meter now, so you've got to pay more money for your electric and your gas. Why? Well, because you're a higher risk. No, I'm not. I'm on a key. If the key runs out, it doesn't deliver any electric, does it? So I can't even physically not pay my bill if I want to. But, no, poor people's tax. Don't take risk. Call it what it is. Because you're poor. You've got to pay more money because you're poor. And as for the zones, if only there was a way that we could work out which vehicles were producing which emissions, and therefore the ones with the low emissions could go into the zones, because let's face it, they're pumping out a load of rubbish around schools and stuff like that, and the ones that didn't qualify, couldn't go in. Oh yes, there is, because now on your MOT someone sticks something up the exhaust pipe and goes, your truck, your van is producing this much emissions. And you can then go, right, okay, I've got my certificate, that goes off to the MOT people, that goes off to the emissions people, you're fine, you can go in. But it's no, you're old, so therefore you can't go in, you've got to pay more money, you're new, so all the people that can afford to buy the new vans, all the big multi-conglomerates that don't care, they can just roll out a brand new set of trucks. Whereas the likes of us fledgling lorry drivers just trying to make a go of things, or us van drivers, are just getting hit all the time. It's poor people's tax under the name of ecology, and I want to do something about it. I want to try and contact someone, but I don't know what to do. So do I write to my MP? Have I still got an MP? I think we've got a new government now. So do I write to my MP? I can't stand outside some of the placard. I've got to make money. I've got a family to feed. So tell me what I need to do. I think MP might be the way forward, but I want to do something about this. It might lead to nothing. It probably, I think my local MP is Dunstable. He's going to say, what are you fretting for? You ain't got a zone. And I'm going to go, no, I ain't got a zone. But I know a load of people that have got a zone, and it ain't fair. Someone's got to do something about it. So tell me what to do, guys. I might maybe write something to my MP. But in the meantime, this ecology zone thing strikes me as nonsense. Now, if you know better, leave something in the comments. You can go, yeah, Pete, but this, and this. And I'll go, I hadn't thought of that. Right, fair enough. I'll do another video. We'll do the other side of things. But I don't think it is. I think we all kind of think, no, this is poor people's tax under the name of ecology, and I've had enough. So I'm going to do something about it. Because I want us, with the vans that aren't choking the little kiddies in the playground, to be able to drive in, because we need to take care and take money.